went well. And the fact that you're posting like in the middle of everything, I'm like on Jesse watch, like, okay, how's she doing? How did it go? Like, are you sure we're good for the 5th? And then you're out here just killing it again in typical fashion. And so I'm excited to be here, but I wouldn't have felt bad if you had delayed it just in case. But I know you're good to go and you're ready. So I'm pumped for this today.
Yes, no, I think and for me, I really wanted to share about this because we're going into fourth quarter. For anyone that is not used to that term, regardless if you're someone that's watching right now that's in direct sales or you're a service-based business or even a product-based business, the thing is you want to understand the financial quarters. You have Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Depending on the type of business you have, you can expect certain trends to happen in a specific quarter. So since we're going to Q4, this is when you really need to lock in and figure out how you're going to market so that you can end the year smoothly. And that's why I was like, we're going to talk about this because I need for people to have a good end to the year.
Well, and it's important. And like you said, fourth quarter like that. And for a lot of the network marketing people, it's Black Friday. It's the gift
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So they have to have everything lockstep, good to go. And a lot of people wait, unfortunately, until like the week before Black Friday to even establish
Mm-hmm.
relationships and things like that. So being able to get ahead of that, even now into October, using automation in text marketing or in email marketing or in any platform, I mean, you're already giving everybody a leg up. Just having an understanding of like, what quarter are we in? What's
Yes.
the where are we going right now? What's the mission? And I feel like that's huge.
Yes, and so for anyone that's new to hearing about Project Broadcast, I would love before we start interviewing me, I would love to just because some people are like, "What is Project
What
Broadcast
is
and what is
this?
SMS messaging? What is this unicorn that we're talking about right now?"
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those of you who don't know me because you don't know what Project Broadcast is, I'm Joanna. I work for Project Broadcast. We're a SMS and MMS text marketing platform. We are getting email soon too, but our main mission or vision is to help you learn how to communicate through text with education and value, be more impactful with your sales messages and promos, and be more consistent through automation because we all know that consistency is kind of the key. If you're not following up with those customers or those prospects or those team members, staff members, anybody, then you're not going to have any consistency. So you're just going to see all that blood, sweat, and tears to get those 5 prospects to become customers, and then they never come back because you didn't check in with them or anything else like that. And so that's part of the process of what we do, and it really helps out because it creates systems for you to be more impactful. So that's what SMS or text marketing is, and that's who I am. And if you're from Project Broadcast and you're watching the replay on this, then you are going to love this conversation for sure.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that you even mentioned is that I find that regardless of what kind of business we can all have a sales funnel that has this gigantic hole in it. And we're not even sometimes present to the fact that we have a hole. So it's important to use automations or technology that's going to help make life easier because life is lifing. And if you have to
Life is
remember,
like,
like,
go ahead. Oh my God.
yeah, I mean, like, let's be honest, like the last week I've been out of it. But because I have automations, things have been going on without me having to, or if I needed to log on my computer for 10 minutes, I didn't have to guess what needed to be done. Automation that just said, Jesse, approve this. I approve it and then I go on with my life and my day. So when I first found out about Project Broadcast, one of my friends was a customer and I was like, oh, this is really cool. She reached out to me to do the setup for her. And I was like, I really like this. I'm like, I feel like it can be a beneficial tool for both sides of my, well, technically all sides of my business, to
Mhm.
help with just nurturing so that I'm not working so hard to be seen. Being seen is one thing, but how are you actually getting people off of these platforms and getting access to them is the second part to having a successful business.
That is huge right there. I feel like just bringing up the fact that being seen on the different platforms and doing the work to get there is already a ton. So then what are you doing with that gaping hole in the middle that's supposed to
Mhm.
somehow funnel people into the next step of the customer journey? I don't know why I'd never seen that visually in my head before, but that's actually such a good explanation. Being seen, but then what are the next steps after that that actually need the automation? I really
Yeah,
like that.
because we often hear about like going viral, cool, but where are we taking them? Like we don't.
Where are they going? We're going
Where are they
viral,
going?
but where are we going? Oh my God, you are so good. I love it so much.
So it's like Instagram isn't cutting us a check for followers. The only way that
No,
you actually monetize is getting people off of these platforms. The technology. So like with the automation part for myself, I do free workshops, and I'm actually going to be starting to do once a month a free workshop on how to use Project Broadcast.
oh my
And
God, yeah.
so I'm like, I want people to learn, like, okay, once someone comes to me, what do I do next? And so what I decided, I was like, okay, I'm going to create an automation where if people type text, they text tips to me,
Okay.
to my Project Broadcast number. Now I can easily send people messages, and you'll find that that way they remember, because I find that a lot of people, you have either those individuals that are really on top of emails and they read them, or you have those that have like 5,000, and it gives me anxiety. And
Literally,
like,
that's part of our like spiel. We're like, take a look at how many email messages you have. Now take a look at how many text messages you had. Literally, people are in like the 20,000, 100,000. So you're right.
mhm,
And then there's some people that are like no notifications, and they're just me archiving, archiving, archiving.
yeah, exactly. I thought today with us having this conversation, when we were like, okay, we should do a live together and talk. I was like, I love talking about automations because um, even with the best of intentions, which most people do with whatever kind of business they have, if you don't have a way to capture information and then also being able to nurture those people, then you won't see the fruit of the work that's happening. So it's learning, how do I get someone from Instagram? How do I get them if I'm at a vendor event? I know it's fine.
I know. You see me muting in and out. I'm like, oh no, here we go.
So it's understanding, how do I get people from specific platforms and capture their information. So when I first was thinking about how can I use Project Broadcast, I sit there and I think to myself, what are the things that I'm actively promoting, and how do I want to have that communication being sent to them? Because with automation, the key to automation, in my opinion, is making it so that it doesn't seem spammy and it seems like a genuine, hey, you crossed my mind. I think that this
Love
is
it.
something you might like. Because if you don't do that, it you'll be like, why did they send this to me? This has
Yeah.
nothing to do with anything that I liked or anything
Who
like
is this
that.
person?
Who is this person? Because I mean, I know we've all been there. We get this text message or the email, and you're like, I signed up for this. I don't remember why or what. So you want it to be that when you're thinking about automation, am I sending information that is related to why that person signed up? So, like, if I am, let's say, in direct sales and I do fit health and wellness, I don't now send someone about pizza parties, because then they're like, I don't understand. Like, I eat pizza all day. I'm trying to not eat pizza. That's why I reached out to you. It's fine.
Thank
So,
you.
what I have to sit there and think about, if I'm doing a automation for health and wellness, what are some things that I can have in a drip campaign? So, in Project Broadcast, and you can even elaborate more on this with the campaigns, if you like to let people know, what are the different type of campaigns that they can do as far as automations and Project Broadcast?
Yeah, absolutely. So I love that explanation of like a health and wellness, and you're not going to be sending them tips about pizza necessarily. What you'd probably be doing for Project Broadcast is a calendar campaign that's set to go out every Wednesday at noon with your favorite recipes that add to their nutrition versus, tear it down or whatever you want. Maybe it's your top five pizza recipes that are better for you than Domino's or Papa
Mm-hmm.
Murphy's or whoever it is out there. So calendar
Yeah.
campaigns, or a repeat campaign that goes out every Monday of the month. A drip campaign that checks in on them every day for a week, maybe during a challenge. And I mean,
Yeah.
we could go in further, but these are opportunities to automate those sequences of messages so that way you're not missing that person who you were supposed to send that weekly tip out to, who's a prospect, who's checking in on you and being like, man, I really love what this person is doing. Oh, I can get a weekly recipe tip. That is clutch. And it's under $30 and takes less than 30 minutes, and it's guaranteed to give my family some type of health and wellness. Like, done. And so you just have to set it up, click, click, done. You don't have to do anything else. And it's just so simple and easy.
Yeah, and I think the key too is like if you're not one of those, if you're not someone that naturally thinks in this type of alignment, it's good to just write it down. Take out a
Yes.
piece of paper and think, okay, if I'm going to be doing this type of, this is my focus, like for, let's stick to health and wellness. So we know pretty much people say holidays is October 31st to January 1st is not,
Yes.
we make it into 3 months, not a month. Or so what can you do is do a drip campaign that you write out text messages that are going to be giving tips on just nurturing them. So then
Yep.
that way it's like, oh, and the key to it is using your feature, which I really liked. It's the light bulb that tells you if something
The
is personal or
messages,
if it's
like, yep.
spam. And so then just keep testing, like while you're making out these messages, keep using that to be able to tell, is this something that's robotic, because the whole point of the automation
Yeah.
is to connect. So you want to be able to tell if I have this drip campaign for a health and wellness professional, what are some of the things in which I can share about? Some of the things I can share about, here's my, like a real life example. You know, when I used to struggle with, hey, so and so. In the past, I used to find myself struggling around this time. So I thought I would share this really cool tip for you.
Love it.
Make it sound, or I saw this video. Like you can sit here and think, what are the touch points? The
Oh,
key to it
yes.
is knowing the balance of spamming someone and informing and educating them. So like we aren't sending them a drip campaign every day, because then
Pop, 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 pop. Bing, 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 bing. Oh, God.
because
Bad day. Bad day
otherwise,
for everybody.
yeah, they're like unsubscribe. Get
Unsubscribe.
my
Ma'am, why are you texting me? I just want to
all
give you
this
so
time.
much information.
Yeah, so it's finding like that sweet spot so that one is they can tell that it's thoughtful and they
Hmm.
can't tell that it's automated. Like to me, that's that sweet spot is like being human when you're creating your campaigns. So take the paper and think, where am I taking people? So like if you're trying to have an automation just to keep people engaged, let's say for health and wellness, so they stay active within their nutrition plans, what are the things I need to do to help them feel engaged in that process? If I am a jewelry consultant, what are some of the things I need to do to help people understand ideas for gifts?
Oh,
And like so it all depends on where you're taking people. Is this going to be to produce an income result? Is this to get people that are going to book you? Is this going to be for you to get referrals? Because you can have a campaign for referrals too, but if you don't know what you're creating or what's your intention with it, often you'll find yourself pretty frustrated with creating an automation.
this is huge because so many people, I feel like, don't know what they want to do. Like they'll come in and they want to do everything, and that's in the quotations. I want to do everything, and I'm just like, well, let's take a moment. Let's think about: are we trying to prospect? Are we trying to follow up with customers? Are we trying to engage our team members? Okay, got it. With your prospects, what do you want to do? Do you want to provide them education and value? Do you want to provide them a promo? And I love the idea of that you're talking about, where you basically kind of write it out and look at it and be like, okay, what am I trying to do here? How am I going to use automation to be genuine and personalized, to hit those pain points of what I sometimes deal with, other people could possibly deal with? Because just when we say automation, everybody immediately thinks I'm having, Chat GPT write everything for me, and finding some branded or off-branded picture. And that's not what we're saying. We're saying, which you can use chat gpt if you want, because I know plenty of people who do, and I'm down for that.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like using their first name with a first name dynamic field, using a short sentence structure, being genuine. People can tell it's me when I message them because I have
Yeah.
a specific voice when I text. And it's, if I were to be like, hey friend, what's up? They'd be like, who are you? Because usually I'm like, hey, 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 it's Joanna,
Yes.
what's going on? And they're like, oh my
Yeah.
God, this chick's back again. But that's the mentality. And I love that you bring up those points of the pain points and how to use automation to be genuine. And I think, like you said, where we see our clients, our customers for automation and project broadcast, they get lost. Analysis paralysis. What do I do next? How am I supposed to use this? And even the points you're bringing up are just so clutch of focus down, find the one thing, focus on that, and then move on to the next system. It's just so good.
And then two, I like that you mentioned about the fields. So this is where you want to make sure you're using the configure form once someone comes through your keyword. And when you want to you want to create a configure form that's going to ask specific questions that are going to help you with even being more personalized in the person's response. So if you have a configure form and you're a health and wellness person and you have a question on there that says, what's your biggest challenge with your health? They fill it in. Now you can have in your automation a message that goes out that says, hey girl, I just wanted to let you know that blah, blah, blah. I remember you mentioned that your biggest challenge is boom. If you want to schedule a time to talk in the next 2 weeks, please let me know because I would like to something
Yeah.
like that. So when you use configure forms appropriately, that actually even helps you with having a more realistic and humanized communication with someone without them feeling as if you're sending this to each and every person.
I love that. I saw somebody the other day do that where it was like, let me know if it makes sense to chat about your goals of being more flexible and eating more nutritious food. It wasn't like about your goals. It was she took from the configurable form and she literally personalized it and was like, does it make sense to talk about it here? And it was just so good. And I was like, dang, that was so smart because she personalized it and it was very easy because she got that information from the configurable form. So yeah, I love that you brought that up. So good.
Yeah, because that was one of the things that excited me because I was like, oh, now you can actually have information that they're giving to you and then pull it. Just like how you can have a person's name, you can have their response and put it as well. So what I would really recommend to someone is the second thing. So we already said the first thing is just understand the intention. What's your goal? Is this for nurturing? Is this to get purchases? Is this just to get referrals? Like everyone's business is different. So this can be, again, direct sales or this can be service based because I have one for what I do with this side of my life where I want to have free workshops for the different platforms I promote. So I would have that they text a specific name to my number. So all I'm just going to do is keep them updated on the new releases on that specific platform. And I'm going to use that for nurturing to ultimately be able to put them into coming to a workshop that I might be having. But if I never take the time to sit here and think, where am I taking people? That's something that we always think. I'm not doing things just to do things for free. Like ultimately, this is all to build my business.
I like
So,
that, but that's a direct boundary. You're like you mentioned. Oh my god, it was like my favorite thing you said. I'm not gonna lie, this was my favorite. It was, where are you going once you go viral? What's happening next in the journey? And I feel like it relates to what you just said. You're doing this to convert people to make money so that you can continue on with your passion, which is doing this. So if you're watching this in your project broadcast group right now and the replay, you guys, if you're not following her on Instagram, Green Eyed Ambition, I don't know what to tell you because I'm already going to be following her for the project broadcast tips. Just having somebody that understands the system of automation and the real goals behind it, you guys, I'm geeking out right now. It's just, this is huge to me. So yeah, let's keep going. I am so down for this.
and it's funny because the person that talked to me about Project Broadcast, and so we were going over like what are the things she's doing to draw people into her business. I'm like, okay, we're going to create these keywords, and I want to have configured forms so I ask these things, and like once that they answer these things, I want this to drip to them so
Yep.
that and then I'm like, okay, for the things that cannot really be automated, let's have them saved as templates. So then all she has to do is select birthday 2 because that's the second message that we send to a birthday because there's no way to um, if someone responds back immediately after you tell them happy birthday, you
Yeah.
don't want to have an automation that goes immediately say, hey, it's so great, because then they'd be like, hold on, I never even responded back to you the
Whoa,
first
whoa,
place.
whoa, whoa.
So
Are we having a conversation here? I love that. That is so smart. Oh,
yeah, so I was like, let's do templates so that when you need to reply to people, you just pull from that. You're not writing it. You don't have to think. All you have to do is, this is the second message that goes to a birthday. So like the way that you sit here and do this is like, now that I know exactly what's my intention, now I need to take out a piece of paper and
Hmm.
just give myself freedom to at least tackle one of those reasons. Don't overwhelm yourself, to do all the things, because even with my friend, when we had the conversation, and I was like, okay, I want to do this, and she was like, I just love your brain. Like, you just think of something, like, I can tell you this one part, and then you immediately start to think of other ways to make this work.
So good.
Yeah. And so, like, that's where I think if people allow themselves that freedom, just write it
Hmm.
out on paper. What type, and for those of you that might be in direct sales, like, everyone is given some type of level of scripts and directions to be able
Hmm.
to do their business.
Hmm.
Use use what they're giving you, tweak it so it sounds realistic to you, and think, do I send this in one message, or is this something I spread out over 3 messages? Because if you have anyone like myself, you send me anything over a paragraph, I will promise you
I will not read that. Oh my
I'm not.
God. If you guys are not writing down notes right now, literally, like, can you just hang out with me? I love the fact that you were like, you may have to break it up into multiple messages. So many people get worried about that. They're like, oh, I don't want to send out, multiple texts. I literally, that's how I talk to people. I send out, like, I am that annoying texter that's like, every sentence is a message. My whole family gets it, and so do my friends. But breaking the information down,
Yeah.
it's needed because I'm not going to read a paragraph on text. I'm not. I don't have time for that. That's what Instagram or Facebook and email are for. So just
Yeah.
thank you for pointing that out.
And but that's the thing too, is understanding who's the recipient, because
Yes.
often what happens is that we're pushing how we communicate onto our recipient. So with my business side of, like, Green Eyed Ambition, a lot of my people are super busy. So if they're just kind of like me, I'm not reading a long email. I want to hear what you got to say, get to the point, and then we move on. So but if you're dealing with clients that tend to be moms or busy individuals, they aren't they'll open your message and then the kid's screaming and they forgot that they were even supposed to be reading your message. And
That's
so so we have to be present to, my audience is going to be someone that needs you to get to the point. How can I sound friendly? And that can be a craft. I get that. And
mhm.
that's why you need to work with someone, so like to figure out, how do I make it sound realistic, but talk about what I need to talk about so that it's not seeming spammy or doesn't seem like awkward and weird. However, if you're not getting people to respond back, or it's not going in a specific direction, there's probably a disconnect with your audience and what you're sending to them. So there needs to be some type of starting back at the ground and figuring out, how do I use Project Broadcast and use this messaging so that, like, 'cause, like, if I sell jewelry and I'm using Project Broadcast, what I would start to do is, for Black Friday, I would start 3 or 4 weeks before, create a campaign that's going to do little teasers. And that
Yeah.
way you can have them respond back. So it's because you want some stuff that's just going to be community, like, hey, I just want you to know. But you
Yeah.
also have the other part where I want them to respond back. So that way you can have, like, if you want to be one of my VIPs that knows about my things firsthand, reply back yes. And
Yep.
then you set up a keyword that
Hmm.
now puts them into that because they responded yes. So
And that's your
with your
engaged
drip,
people.
yep, and then you now know who are the people that want to know when your Black Friday sale is up, and then you then put them into the campaign that's appropriate for them based off that response. So if you know your audience and you write that stuff out, again, it's going to give you more freedom. Like, who wants to walk around with a piece of paper and a list of names? No, you don't
No.
want to do that.
We don't have time for that. Okay, so
No.
you mentioned, and I love this, you're engaging the engagers. You're reaching out to
Hmm.
a strategic group of people, like a general, right? Generalized people,
Hmm.
and asking them to respond to you if they're interested in. And I love that because so many people just like blast 20,000 people. That's a lot, I know. And then they're like, why is nobody responding? And I'm like, well, you just blasted a bunch of information. You didn't ask them if they wanted the information. You don't even know if any of these people actually bought Black Friday last year or are interested in that specific jewelry or wellness or service or product. You've got to be dialed in. And so Like even when people in Project Broadcast come up to me and they're like, well, I don't know if anybody's getting my messages because they're not responding. You brought up a great point. Maybe you need to go back and look at your messages and start from ground zero and be like, how am I messaging them? Is it one action or behavior that I'm asking for in each message? Am I just pushing information at them? Do they even want this information? Why am I messaging them if they're not messaging me back? And sometimes it's because people don't realize you're you on the other end. They don't know it's Joanna. They're like, it's a robot. So then tell them you're not a robot. Like, be like, hey, I haven't heard back from you in a couple weeks, and I just wanted to make sure you knew it's me, Joanna, and I'm here if you have questions. Text me back so I know you got this. So many people forget to humanize it, and then they go down the road of nobody's answering my messages, nobody's buying my stuff. This is a good point. Take a break. Let's look at what you're doing. Oh, I love that. So smart.
Because they're not creating messages that we can reply to. Like the person I'm dating, I can send him a message, but if he doesn't see a reason to reply, he doesn't reply. Like, think about our person. And as women, sometimes we get upset, like, oh, you're gonna just double tap or heart it?
You're gonna leave me on red? Did you even think to respond?
Yeah, and they're like, well, I didn't know what to say back. But we're doing that to our clients.
Oh my God, you need to do like a whole series on this, like leaving you on red with your clients, because I feel that's so like typical. You are dating your customers. You're dating your prospects, and you need to give them a reason to reply to you. Like, think about how you treat your friends or your family when you want to get a response. We're like children, you're gonna poke the bear until you get the response you want. But elevate it up to that adult behavior and think about that. Like, I want to get a response. So how do I get a response from somebody? Education, value, asking questions, identifying pain points, configurable forms, asking if you even want the information. Hey, this is what worked for me in the past. I think you would think this is really cool too. Just reply back this, and I'll send you my best techniques for cleaning jewelry or something. Because Lord knows if you're going to buy jewelry, you want to clean it. And I don't want to have to think about it like a month from here. And I'm like, why does this look so gross?
Yeah.
That's me, by the way.
But I'm glad you even said about configured forms. And here's the thing is that if you're finding yourself in a position where people are not responding back to your messages, use a configured form to even ask them how, like, about frequency, or what do they really need to get. Like, trying to improve a lot of my communication to my clients. And I thought you'd be the first person that I would want to ask. They don't know that there are multiple people that you're asking.
Yeah.
But you're one of the people that I thought I would love to get feedback. If you can take a quick 5 seconds and click on this form and give me some feedback, I would love it. Like, use what you have so then you can learn what isn't or what is working. And I think that use Project Broadcast. Don't look at it as this is just a way to have clients text me without getting my phone number. No, use it. Use it to communicate. Use it to grow your business. Use this to improve your business structure.
I love it so much. This is so good. I can't even. We're going to have to do more. We're going to have to do more because you're already bringing me up. Like, there's so many points you brought up in just this quick video that you and I are doing that I'm like, we gotta talk about this some more. Like, even the dating our customers. Oh my God. Why did they not reply? You didn't give them a reason to. Oh my God. So
it's not anything personal. Like, I think that's something too we have to realize is like things are happening in everyone's life just like it's happening in our life. So the key to really utilizing a tool in your business is making it human, thinking through some of the interactions that, and I say that this loosely because I think sometimes we're too empathetic to our client experience, because what we're doing is we're using our fear to prevent us from. They're like, I would feel some sort of way if I got 2 messages and like, no, that's.
And you put it on them. You put that fear on them, and you're like, they don't feel anything. They don't care. They were like, oh, so nice of her to text me today.
Exactly. Yeah, and we're making this big long story.
She hates me.
Yeah,
she's like, I'm at the park with my kid.
I opened it and the kid started vomiting, and I put it down and I forgot to respond back. Like.
The
That's
kids came
exactly
home
right.
and I went off to clean up. Oh my God, a day in my life right there.
And then what happens is then we get into our head and think that, oh man, I don't want to be that person. They won't. Like if you are that person, most people will tell you stop.
Stop.
You know. So if you're not
Don't.
getting stop, it means that they actually are probably reading it. It's just that they don't know what you're saying.
Oh my God. Okay, that's going to be our next one. I'm going to get with you and it's going to basically be like how to respond to the non-responders. And is it because
Mm,
you're not giving them a reason to respond to you? It's going to be one long title with like a bottom
yes.
thing that's like, don't be a jerk.
Yes.
I cannot thank you enough for taking time with me today, especially after everything going on with your surgery and stuff like that. Um,
Yes.
if you're down for it, I would absolutely love some more interviews and time with you into the project
Sure.
broadcast group because you have so much subject matter expertise to bring to the table. And I know you've got a lot of resources that people need to check out. So can you just
Yeah.
lay it on them, at least for the project broadcast people that are checking out this replay, what they could do when they go to your website or your Instagram?
Yes, so I'm going to be starting in November. I'm going to be doing once a month a webinar that's going to be free for you to come to. And basic setups for you to use Project Broadcast. But if you're someone that really needs hands-on, I am giving 23% off if you do want to have your setup because I know it's very key for most of us at the end of this year to make sure we're utilizing our platforms the best. So if you are interested, I'll make sure that in the description, I'll have a link to schedule a time for us to
Perfect.
talk. And that way we can discuss more about what your business does, how we're using Project Broadcast, and then figure out what keywords, campaigns, or configure forms we need to create. And I am super grateful for the opportunity to talk to you today, Sue. And I was able to sit this long. Hey, we got some wins going
Hi.
on.
Now we need to go take our water break and our meds break, and we will be fine.
Yes.
Thank you again. Thank you again.
Sure, it's my absolute pleasure. And everybody, if you have questions, please comment in the captions, and that way we'll respond back to you as well. All right. Well, you have an amazing day,
You
and
too,
I
ma'am.
am going to lay back down. All
Yes,
right.
ma'am. I'll see you guys. Bye.
Bye.